Hi everyone, welcome to Cat's Creations. We have power, so I'm not sure for how long because we have another storm coming in tonight through tomorrow, and we're supposed to get snow with this one, so who knows. The good thing is I've never been more happy in my life to see lights come on in my home, and so I want to get the live done so we don't have to postpone this one. So I thought we'd do something a little simple and tackle an everyday wreath, simply because a lot of gifts that are given at Christmas are not Christmas wreaths. They are everyday wreaths or wreaths for a future time, like Valentine's Day or Easter or 4th of July or whatever. So I thought we would take this 21-inch oval grapevine and we would do a farmhouse chicken wreath using this metal chicken from Craft Outlet. So we're going to do a simple design. We're going to add some florals, add a double bow, and I think that should pretty much be it. I'm trying to figure out why. I think everything just with power outage, it just takes a moment to re-engage. Here we go. I think I have it. Yes, I think so. And let me make sure I can read comments. There we go. So, all right, we're going to get started. So I've already cleaned my grapevine. So if you need instructions on how to go about cleaning a grapevine, I have a video already on YouTube that you can find a lot easier than trying to find one on my Facebook page. But I will go back and actually re-add that to the page for those of you that are looking for specifics on how to clean a grapevine. So I just do it because it's easier when you're adding florals, you're adding your embellishments. I'm just making sure, kind of like looking at the quality of my picture to make sure we're on the right speed as well. And then for adding our bow. So if we clean all the debris out, it makes it much easier for us to go ahead and secure things to the inside of our grapevine. And usually it's filled with a lot of pine needles, pine branches, a lot of dead leaves. So I thought that's what we would do on this oval. I have a couple of these, and these are an extreme oval. I mean, they're really tight oval. It's about 21 inches right now, and the width on this one is about 13 inches wide at its widest point. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach our rooster. What's up? We're going to attach our rooster, we're going to make our bow, and then we're going to add florals. And this is like the most logical step for any new person who's learning how to create grapevines. I used to say put all your florals on first and then plan for your bow, but that gets a little hard when you're new and you're not sure size-wise where everything should go. So we're going to change it up. So we're going to take our 22-inch floral wire. Let me make sure I have comments. So, hi Amy, hi Anna, hi Charlotte, hi Melody, hi Lynn. Okay, so 22-inch. This is going to sit right down here at the bottom, so where he already has a hanger is not going to benefit me, so we're going to have to secure him through his tail, probably one down here, probably underneath his beak, and then probably secure him probably right here on one of his feet, so he'll be wired in 3 different ways. So the way that we're going to add a hole to that is we're going to take a 1.5 millimeter beadsmith metal hole punch. We're just going to punch a hole, and I'm going to put it down here at the bottom of his middle, and I'm going to put it down here at the bottom of his foot, probably right in here. And then I think I said, let us look again, right here if we can, underneath his let's see if we can try to get that in. There we go. So 3 different places, right here, and right here. These are basically, you can find these at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and Michael's. They'll be in the jewelry department because they're metal hole punch. 1.5 millimeter, I wouldn't go anything higher than a 2 millimeter hole punch. That'll allow you to get your chenille stems, floral wire placed in there. So we'll just go ahead and anchor these in. I'm going to go ahead and flip these over and get my wire set up so we can get him all wired in so he won't be flopping around. So there's 2. There's that one. I don't know why I get notifications on time. Jeannie, so right now while we're on this live, if you click the 3 dots in the upper right hand corner of this live, just verify that you have live notifications turned on. When Facebook does upgrades to their site, a lot of times things go back to factory default, which is never to have your live notifications turned on. So just make sure that that button is on. Okay, there's that one. Last one. Alrighty. We just want to make sure we have enough wire that'll go all the way through that grapevine. Name of the wire. Binding wire would work on this. His foot first because it kind of goes underneath this little branch. So I'm going to feed this through. I'm going to attempt to feed it all the way through and make sure we bring it out the other side. There's that one. I'm going to slide this underneath this branch, and then we're going to get this back up. I'll try to make sure I keep that as straight as possible.
Thank you, Anna, for sending 200 stars.
Thank you, Anna. Ooh.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, let me get my needle nose so I can pull that wire out. Kind of went sideways. So it is right there. Okay. Get that around his toe. Pull that down. Get him tucked back under. And then I'm going to flip this over. This is kind of nice because it's going to go right around this really big meaty part of this grapevine. Go ahead and trim that. And then I like to take the ends with needle nose pliers. Fine. That way there's nothing that's going to rub on the door. Okay, we'll go ahead and get this one in. Kind of looking at where it needs to go. There's that. Pull these down tight. There we go. Same thing. Couple twists. I like to get my my twists nice and tight together so they're not so loosely done. Same thing, bend it back inside, and we'll secure this one. There we go. it. Yes, he's all done. He's all tightly secured. So that's how you secure your embellishments. It'll be the same procedure. Grapevine is so important. It just makes the process so much easier. Okay, we are set with him. He is all nicely situated on our wreath. And now we're going to build the bow, because if you're a first-time wreath maker, it's challenging to know, like, where do you stop your florals? How do I know to leave enough for my bow? So I thought we would do our bow first. Here's this, babe, if you need it. We are going to be using this white 2.5 inch. This is roosters and chickens and chicks on a chicken wire print. This is on a natural with red. Then we're going to do a black and white Swiss dot. We're going to do a red and tan gingham border with a beige or natural stripe. We're going to add red and white ticking, which is synonymous for farmhouse. And then we're going to add a white or red with a cream colored stitching on it. So we're going to break these up so that they kind of follow along like this. No, wait a second. This goes here, this goes there. I think that's how I had it. So we want to start with the 2.5 inch because it's going to be the biggest. And we're going to do this bow down here at the bottom. This is where it's going to go. So we want to start with the dovetail edge, which is bring your wired edges together. We are going to cut from the folded side to the wired point. So we have a really nice finished edge. We don't want to go too big because we don't want to lose sight of the rooster. But I do want to, let's go with a 10-inch tail, I think. Maybe 9. Now I'm thinking about it. 9-inch would be cute. Okay. So this ribbon that I'm using now is from Craft Outlet. And we're just going to do somewhat small bow as far as loops. So let's see. This one is 5.5 inches. I look at that really quick. Let's try to take it down to a 5. Because 5.5 just seems way too big. Okay. So we're only doing 5 ribbons on this one, and look, right here in the middle of this is a nice splice. So this is not going to do. Hate when they splice. So it's my biggest pet peeve because that's a lot of wasted ribbon. Okay, so 9 inches. We're going to do 5-inch loop. So I'm just always bringing my bow dabber back to the 10-inch line so that when I pull this out, I can see that it measures the 5 inches. Do this on the other side. Make sure. Right about there. And then we said we're going to 9 inches. We'll put another dovetail cut on this. Okay. So here we go. This one is done. Okay, let's get our red in. What do you think of the colors of the ribbon for this? This one's going to be 8.5 inches. And we're going to do a 4.5 inch loop. A little bit bigger. There we go. What are you doing? I was just, because you have my camera, I don't see them.
Yeah, it's everybody just being say or saying hi, Cat and Steve.
No, I just get a lot of, let's see. Char said, love the colors of their ribbons. Yep. Okay. Just making sure. That we're not missing anything. We are supposed to get snow tonight. So pray that our power stays. It was a very restless night because I kept waking up in the middle of the night wondering, did we get power? Do we have power now? Because we just went grocery shopping, just stocked our fridge. And then, of course, power went out at about 7:30 last night. And so we knew after 11:30, everything that was in the fridge was pretty much done. This one we're going to do at 8 inches. So it's just sad throwing out food that you never got an opportunity to really enjoy. And we're going to do this one at 4.5 as well. So now we know that we need to invest in a generator, because I'm sure this is not a one-time thing. It will probably happen again. What we were told is somebody actually drove over one of the transformer boxes. Yeah, and knocked the power out for everyone in our area, which was wonderful. So it wasn't the weather, it was human error. I love this ticking. It's such a great ribbon to work with. It's very thick. It holds its shape tremendously well. Okay, so we did 9, 8.5, 8. This one is going to be...
Hi, Charlotte. Craft says hello from Colorado.
Hello. Are you guys experiencing... You guys are probably experiencing cold weather, I'm sure. This one's going to be 7.5 inches.
Hands on, I'm glad to hear it.
I know, right?
Hey, Ken.
So we've got 4 inches for our loop size. Let's make sure we're back on 4. And then back out to 7.5. The nice thing about these wreaths is you can change, like when you're doing a double bow, you don't always have to use the same colors or the same pattern ribbons. You could mix them up and do a totally different color, not color, but still sticking to red, white, black, and tan. And maybe just if you have other ones that you really wanted to use, you could incorporate those and do same colors, but different choices on the bows.
Craft Chick said, I know this is off the subject from what you're doing right now, but do you have any videos of how to make an arrangement out of a Santa hat?
Out of a Santa hat.
We made the Santa hat out of a good thing.
Yeah, but it's not an arrangement. So are you looking for like an actual...
Like a floral arrangement?
Yeah, like a floral arrangement done inside of a Santa hat? If so, I have not done one. I know other people have. It's not that hard to do.
Go to Pinterest.
I always go to YouTube. YouTube's a great resource for that. YouTube helped us figure a lot of stuff out while we still had cell service and battery on our phone. So this one's going to be a 7-inch tail with a 3.5-inch loop. Okay. That one is finished. Let me get a beige pipe cleaner. Or we can use red. Let's just squeeze. So I'm going to lift the whole thing up. We're going to shape this into a U. And then we're going to hold the bottom and twist the stack.
Jane said that's how I found you. YouTube?
YouTube, right? Okay. So I am actually going to fluff this one on our wreath. So now I'm going to figure out where I want this to be. And I think it's going to kind of go somewhere right in here. So I am going to work my pipe cleaner down. And you want to make sure, obviously, you get pipe cleaners on both sides of your grapevine, like you're taking a chunk of your ribbon. I'm going to do this really tight because I don't want it to spin around. And since our bow is positioned down here, I need all the tails to kind of come down. So I'm going to pull all my tails. I'm just holding the loops and just pulling the tails down. And then we're going to fluff. Just kind of pull them out into whatever colors you'd like to see wear. So I'm just kind of, I like the black a little bit closer to the rooster. But then down here I'm going to alternate and do the black at the bottom and then the tan at the top. Same thing, I'm going to change position on my red and the ticking, but then still leave my rooster print here.
Kathy, you also asked a question. Can you mix gold, white, and silver on a wreath?
Sure.
Sure. Doing a Jesus wreath, and the mesh is dark blue with gold, silver with white.
Yeah, I think I've done something like that too, because sometimes I think, depending upon the sign, I think the sign is kind of like a gold, a white, and a blue. And then sometimes your ribbon, you know, just has to be a little bit different. So there's one bow. So we're going to place this one down. Then we're going to place another one up here at the top. Obviously, we can't have the tails hang as low as this one is. This one works because it hangs down towards the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and on this one, I'm not going to do the 2.5-inch ribbon because I need it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to focus on these colors, but I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to mix the color combination. This time I'm going to put the black with the Swiss dot on the outside. So let's vary these. Let's do this. Let's do them like this. So we're going to mix up the order. Love it when it happens and your ball falls off the pin. Let's do our dovetail. Okay, this one, look at the order of this. I think 9 is going to be about the longest we're going to be able to go. This one's actually 8.5. So let's do a smaller one. So we're going to do 2 at 8.5. So the tail's 8.5. We're going to do the loops. Let's do this one at 5. Because this is a sturdier ribbon, it's going to hold up really well. So out it a little bit more. And then we're back out to 9. This should go really quick. And then we get to start putting all of our florals in, which are, we're going to just keep it simple because it's a country wreath. So this can be used any time of the year. Okay, so we're going to do our red. Now we're going to go 8.5. No, yes, 8.5. 8.5, 8, and then 7.5. So this will be 4.5 inches. See, this is me changing my mind as I'm building it. I'm like, I was going to do 2 the exact same, but now I'm going to change it. A little bit more. And then back out to 8.5. Let's do a really nice cut on this. There we go. So, I already said the chicken print ribbon came from Craft Outlet. This red with the cream stitching is from Joann's. The ticking is from Craft Outlet. The gingham with the tan is from Craft Outlet. And then the black and white Swiss dot. I got this from Personally Yours, but you can also find it on Craft Outlet. So I always try to find, like, if you're going to purchase all of your supplies, Craft Outlet right now has the lowest free shipping minimum. You only have to spend $69 and then you get free shipping, which is a huge saver for a lot of us.
I'm already loving this wreath. Love the rooster and the choice of ribbon. So country farmhouse.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Okay, so this one, we said we're going to do 4 inches for the loop. And then we did 8 inches for the tail. So I'm just always verifying my measurements are correct. And then we'll do the last black one. So this is what I'm saying is we can change the order of the ribbons. We could have even incorporated any other. We could have done a red and white Swiss dot. We could have done a black and white ticking ribbon instead, and the colors and the ribbon would look amazing paired together. So this last one's going to be 7.5 inches with a 3.5 inch loop. Okay, that's over. And 7.5. Right up there. There we go. And we are just about out of this ribbon. So my all-time favorite, if I can't get solids, will always be Swiss dot. So if you can't find the ribbon you want, try looking for the Swiss dot, because it still gives you the illusion that you have a lot of, you know, solid color. But reach up and grab my pointer. But the white kind of breaks it up and adds a nice little pattern to it. Okay, super simple. Drop this down. Again, we're going to fluff on the wreath. Matter of fact, I used to always fluff my bows on my wreaths until I got my fluff board. And then I started doing it there. Okay, so we're going to do this one right in the center, I think. What do you think? Right in the center, huh?
Well, yeah, the bottom one's off to the right a little bit, maybe off to the left a touch.
Because the rooster's right in the center. He's my centerpiece. Let me look.
I'd say close to the center, but just a touch to the right.
Just so funny. So we will do him just slightly off center. Same thing, just weed your pipe cleaners down. Make sure that you are in between your, you know, you're taking a bite of your grapevine with your pipe cleaner. I've got two super double thick branches back here, which makes for a nice hanger. Okay, same thing. I'm going to actually just do this one upside down. So I'm going to pull all my tails down first, just like we did at the top.
Any questions, gals?
All resituated. And then I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to do a split. And then like a split. Here we're going to go a little bit low. Here we're going to do these ones opposite, the same. So we have a cute little bow. If this needs to come down, like depending upon how you're framing your rooster, you can cut your tails a little lower. Like I think I want to do my Swiss dot a little bit shorter so that the ribbon underneath can be, I don't have to tuck it behind the rooster. So I'll make cuter, shorter ones. So this is changing your mind after you put it on, but you can still remedy that.
Amy said, love your bows.
Thank you. And then I'm going to do like this one, but it does need to be just a touch shorter. And then this one works. Let's cut this one just a touch. Thank God we don't have the rain today, like we did on Friday. Fridays was like torrential downpour.
We just get cold.
Huh?
We just get the cold. Man.
Yeah, today's cold. Okay, now we can turn them around and we can actually see all the ribbons, just like that. So that's exactly what it looks like. Ready to start adding our florals. Okay, we are keeping it very soft and simple. So we are going to be using, this is called, I wrote it down. It's called Snow in Summer, or it's like a chickweed. They call it a mouse ear chickweed. So we're going to be using these. This is, I believe, from Hobby Lobby. I just don't have the actual item number or SKU to verify that, but I'm almost positive because I can get this in any different color. So once we have our ribbons on, then it's super easy for us to know where the placement needs to come. So we're just going to like pick these up, and we're going to be adding our chickweed now underneath. So I'm going to break these down into pieces.
And yes, we were lucky we got it back. As far as the power, Amy said I think I'm going to make my mom one. I have this rooster in both colors. I really want to try a grapevine. Thank you for showing us this.
Oh, absolutely. So see what I'm doing? So we're going to be fluffing the bow again, but I'm lifting this up so we can see where placement of our greenery needs to be. Now I have my glue skillet added. So all I'm going to do is dip this in the glue skillet, and we're going to just kind of tuck and add little pieces of our greenery right underneath, right up underneath our bow. And we're just going to pull those out. These are all the pieces I'd pre-cut to play with. So this is the nice things that I love about grapevines, is that you can just kind of stick and tuck everything in. The other reason for cleaning our grapevines. And then you can just come up and break your pick down so that when we lay this bow down, we have this greenery. So I know down in here, you need to kind of feather this edge a little bit right in here so that it kind of, the line of my ribbons, there we go, is I'm just following this right in here. So I want to make sure that it's kind of following the edge of my grapevine. And I don't want to bring it out here. Like I guess we could. It doesn't look really bad. But if you're following an edge, like we don't want to take this and stick this out like this. Like, let me just see if we can stick this in. We don't want to just leave it like this, because then it just keeps accentuating our line. Like we have to come back in here. We'll always feel like we need to fill it. So if you're going to do that, make sure you keep your line going. So here's our longest piece here. We want to make sure that if you're going to add that.
And yeah, eventually we will definitely get a generator. She said generator is a good investment. There are parts of the Wenatchee Valley that also lost power. Only happened with a really big storm.
What's funny is there was no rain yesterday. Well, for us, it was somebody drove over the junction box for our electricity. So it wasn't storm damage, it was neighbor damage. So let's just take this one and then slide this under so that we can keep our line kind of going. I'm going to take this little piece. We're going to fill that in. So I'm still needing another piece here. I'm trying. There we go. So we've filled our pieces. We're going to add one more in here, and then I'm going to add a couple pieces down underneath. So do you guys see what I'm saying about forming a line for your wreath? It's wherever you start. So if you put a piece out here, then figure out where your line is. Are you going to curve it? Are you going to end it here? Or are you going to just like round it from that point? So I have this opening right here. So I needed to fill right in there. And then right underneath here, we're going to add a big piece. Just like that. So that it fills everything under the bow. So let me pull this glue out. So it's going to go, see, I don't have it sticking out. It's actually following the curvature of the grapevine. So it just keeps filling this area right here. And don't be afraid to follow your grapevine path. And then watch, when we pull this all out, we have a nice look for that. Okay, now because we started this piece up here, I'm going to take my bow and bend it backwards. We need to do the same thing. So we're gonna go from here to here. We need to fill. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. And
yeah. Then we've got snow and the mountains all around us too.
I'm trying to figure out which way do I want to go. Do I want to go this way, or do I want to finish down in here? Like that works. Let's take this one and this one off, because then I can get these finished in here. And then we can fill the rest of the way this way.
It's so cute.
Okay. Okay, so now we're filling. Pick this back up. This is all on the back side. So now we're going to take this and we're going to make this fill from here to here. So this is the gap that we're filling with this pick. See, from here to here, we have to fill so that it looks like it's nice and full.
So the bow is kind of like the dividing line?
The bow isn't necessarily the dividing line. It's just where I've placed my picks is the dividing line now. So I've got to fill. So now I've got this little itty bitty space. So we're going to take and place one right in here. So then when our bow comes and lays over the top, everything is full. There we go. Everything is full. Okay. For up here, if you want to go a little longer, you can. Let's see if we stopped it here. And just kind of going from here, filling in, like right about here. We're bringing it back in closer to a grapevine. So I'm just going to lift up, kind of tuck that in, so we're filling that bubble. Have a lot of little pieces. Glue, glue, glue. Remelt. The magic of remelting. Okay. So this is what I call base greenery. So it's got a little bit of white tips to it, kind of keeps it nut creamy sage color. And now we're going to come in and add in these super cute, they're sunflowers. but they're not the typical yellow with the brown centers. These ones are white with the brown center. So these are from Michael's. So we're just going to pop a couple of these out. We might have to utilize some assistance with some of our greenery to help hold those in place.
Hey Lourdes, she said glad you're back with powder.
So are we. Oh my. That is not the experience I think we ever want to go through twice, but I'm sure we will.
And this said, Kat, have you been able to find any 16-inch grapevines? We don't have any in our town. Do you know where you can order some?
Michael's, maybe? Is what I'm thinking. I know I have another one out here. I'm thinking Michael's.
Joann's, probably.
Yeah. And I know you might have to wait a little bit because a lot of the places now are getting their holiday orders in, and everybody right now is running a little bit behind on you know, getting things out. So just a couple little peekaboo sunflowers. We'll add probably one more to the bottom, and then we'll save the other two for our top. So let's see. Where do we want these to go? Might need to cut this back because I kind of want it. I know where I want it to be. I'm just trying to find some placement. Just like that. So. Because I think it matches his, like, it matches his spots. So now, okay, there's that one. Let me look at something. Trim this. Not sure if I want to bring these down on the top, or should I just focus on the bottom? So sometimes I'll just cut picks like this and just place them, kind of see what I think. Like this one, I think. You like the bottom?
What do you guys think?
I'm looking. I like it on the top. It's not going to be as crazy as the bottom one, but I like them on the top too. So I am just going to flip this around. I'm going to pull a couple of these off, trim up the bottom. And let's see. So I'm going to show you how to do a real quick big cheat. So I like this one, the whole pick. So I want to make sure that it's all going in the same direction I want. So just like this, kind of stopping at this point. And then we're going to use binding wire, which is just wire that is brown. So I'm going to take a big blob, go way up here, right underneath my bow. And then right where I want this to stay, see I have all these really great thick branches. So I'm just going to run my binding wire under the branch. And I'm going to hold it in place. I'm going to move my picks. So I'm just going to wire this in. Trim that off. And we're getting it to kind of fall in line with everything else. Take this one down here. It looks like I'm doing it with little grapevines, but it's not. This is binding wire.
Thank you, Anna. Anna said Michael's has a 14-inch. Deco Exchange has a 16-inch.
Oh, Deco Exchange has 16-inch. There you go. Who was
Anna.
looking for the 16-inch? Cheryl?
Linda.
Linda.
Yeah.
So Deco Exchange. And remember, Deco Exchange offers free shipping if you spend, I think it's $100 with them.
Yeah.
So see how we were able to shortcut that one? And that's always something easy you can do if you have a really nice floral pick and you don't want to break it apart, but you need it to bend in a certain way that it just won't. And then we're going to do the same thing. We'll add our sunflowers to this. This is going to kind of fall in line in here. Same thing with this. If I want this flower to lay a little closer to the bottom, you can do the same thing with the binding wire. You can just take your whatever flower you want, position there, a little piece of binding wire, and it comes in all different kinds of colors. So you can get it in brown, so when you're using it on your grapevines, it matches really well. I'm just blending all my florals. I'll bring this back down. I don't know why that's up there, but it is. Okay, we'll do the same thing. I'm going to go over here, lift this up, do the exact same thing. So I'm bringing it really high up underneath my bow. There we go. Binding wire to keep it out of the rooster's face. But I still need it anchored down at the bottom. There we go. And I can't believe I already dissected that pick already. Let's just take one more for all the little pieces we'll need. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create our line. I'm going to follow these through. pieces. So we have one in here. And then one more piece right in the center. So now we have filled the gap between the top and the bottom one. Don't forget, we've got to add in our other sunflower. Last piece. Always dealing with the tags, right? Let's make sure that doesn't come off. And we'll push this up. Kind of like the idea of it coming out here. Like a nice little peekaboo. Right there. Okay, let me flip this around so you guys can actually see it, so it's not upside down. Sometimes you just gotta be creative and work in a different way. So there is our rooster. Hmm? Everybody needs a little life. And that is our rooster, who is ready for an everyday appearance. And yeah, he can be left up every holiday in between that you don't have something, you know, planned for as far as a holiday wreath. Super cute. So he's going to be available. I haven't put him on my shop just yet, but he will be shortly. Finished design on this one is going to be 24 inches tall by 15 inches wide. And it's probably going to be somewhere close to 5 inches at the tallest point. But I hope you guys like that and showing you how simple it is just to take a grapevine with just a couple pieces of greenery, maybe your favorite florals, and add that in. You could definitely do this for summer and add the yellow sunflowers and get your sunflowers and make it a little bit more summery. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Other than that, thanks for joining me a little bit early. And if you guys are interested, my private group is going to be closing at the end of November. So if you want to join, Steve's going to go ahead and post the website link below, so you guys can sign up for that. And I think that's it. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Hope the time change wasn't too much for you. And we will talk to you soon. Bye for now, everyone.